grab a screenshot of everybody before we get started so we don't forget.
Yeah, sounds good.
Make sure we're ready.
I'll make sure my hair is good.
Get it together.
All right, everybody smile. All right, looks good.
Cool.
Nice.
All right, in this, Shane, I think you wanted to go first.
Totally.
Cool.
Okay, can you see the screen, the split screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So for this week, we really just kind of went through some of those design changes that we left off with last sync, namely like choosing what we thought we could finish functionality wise and making kind of like our icons match that. And so I guess the first change you'll notice is that I just kind of took out the 2 pages that didn't have functionality built out for those pages yet. At the moment, they're just commented out. I'm not sure what the best practice might be there if we intend on continuing to build those pages out or not. For the pages that are left, the main difference on, I guess we can start with the map page, is that with the call that we're making, the watch position like method that we're using from geolocation. So right now we were only using the like success and error like callbacks, but I also threw in this kind of like option that is also an argument you can pass to this method. And you can give it a bunch of different things, but I thought one of the most useful might be timeout. And we can maybe address like what would be the appropriate amount of time for this. But essentially there were some cases where you didn't get a response. And so like the loading animation would just kind of like go on forever. So I kind of made a timeout of 10 seconds right now. Maybe it could be longer. I'm not sure like what would be appropriate based on at what point you would assume like maybe it's not just slow Wi-Fi, maybe like there's like an issue with the app. So after 10 seconds, it'll time out. And when you do get an error return from this watch position method, it gives you an error code. And so you can kind of like customize your messaging based on that. A case 1 would be like your location services like in your browser is turned off. So kind of like telling them to turn on your location services. And then case 3 is the one where something's timed out. So for the time being, I put like timed out, like check your connection and ensure location services are turned on. Right now it'll work. So it'll go through, should pick up my location. It was doing it just now. Yeah, and so there's no error messaging. But then if you like turn off your location, try to call it again, you get this like, please turn on location services. Nice. You can either exit out, you can click this X, or if you like try to make another call. If you make another call and it's successful, this would go away, but I still have location services turned off, so it'll give an error again. Visually, and I'm not sure if this is the best way to do this, but essentially when you have location services turned on, this icon turns burgundy. Clicking it again turns off your location services. And then when you click it again, that's like you call to turn it back on.
So it's like a toggle.
Exactly.
That's cool. That paired with an ARIA state would probably, that'd be great. I mean, it's just giving that visual feedback.
Okay, yeah, so previously there was a location message or a loading message component, and it kind of was handling both the icon and the messaging. We split those up into like a location message a loading message and a loading icon separately. So the loading message is what shows up like at the top of the page, and it only handles that messaging. And so I think one of my comments on you guys' pull requests was that maybe we could use this to show like a similar message when you make a search and you get no results, because it kind of does show up at the top as well. And then the loading icon component is what controls like the animation around you turning it on or off. I thought it was just a bit easier to kind of like control when those things were going off, because we are using ternaries kind of in both situations, and it was getting kind of weird to control the icon and the messaging because they need kind of like different parameters that in terms of like when they would go off. And then finally, the last thing we updated was just the coloring that we had talked about on the list. So making these colors like a bit darker for accessibility concerns.
Nice. Very nice.
Great.
That's awesome. I feel like you thought of so many like edge cases and like, or like if this happens and then this happens and this happens, and yeah, seems really thorough.
Yeah, EJ was actually very helpful in this, in that he very clearly pointed out like that the watch position, like we looked at the documentation for it together, and it was kind of like we were trying to do all of these things outside of the function, like create our messaging for it, create kind of like a timeout for it, and all of those things were kind of included. So it was more so just like understanding what you could and couldn't do. And then the switch is not necessarily in the documentation, but it kind of works because it does return an error code. So there's a 2 error code, but it never kind of goes off. So I didn't really make one for that, but we could if we felt it was necessary.
So it just has like native to it three error codes. Or
Exactly.
okay, cool. Yeah, I was wondering the 1 and 3, and now I see what you're doing. You were using the built-in error codes. Okay, that's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really smart. Good job.
I like it. All right, who's up?
Caitlin, do you have the branch open? I was just looking at Shane's branch, but I can switch over.
Yeah, I have it running locally.
Okay, cool.
So, y'all can see that.
Yep.
Cool. So we pulled in all the styling that had been done and added to it a little bit. And now the search functionality should work. So let's give it a shot. So the way we have it going right now is the page is populated with the Wikipedia pins, obviously. And then if you search cafe and you hit enter, or this guy, then cafe pins pop up alongside the Wikipedia pins. So then if you go to one of these Wikipedia guys, no,
Yeah.
come on. I don't know why that happened. Try again, cafe. There we go. So then it will say the distance from center and kilometers. So we had to use that Haverstein function. And then it brings in the address. And because it's not a Wikipedia page, there is no Wikipedia link. Like that's also a cafe. So, can't find a Wikipedia link. There's got to be one. There we go.
Yeah.
So that one, if it's a Wikipedia page, it will still have the Wikipedia link. And then this should also match up with the cafe results get added to the list, and these get sorted in order of nearest to furthest. And Rachel, what else?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Yeah, I think and then there's the error messaging, like you put in gibberish or no results that, either gibberish or things that aren't within that distance, because we still have it as the 500 meters, which is about like half the mile.
Yeah. We could combine this error message with kind of the error message y'all have done, so that it's the same styling, so that any error message that comes up, the user could see it in the same sort of way, I guess. But
I thought I noticed you tapped a pin and it had a link to see it on Google Maps too, right? Is that only some of them?
That's like I think if you tap some of the Google Map things, that comes with the map. No, I did see what you're talking about, but I think that's just like, that's not something that we did. That's like something like, I think if you tap on like that train or whatever, it will link you to the Google Map or some of the stuff that comes with just the map.
okay.
Oh.
Like that, yeah.
Oh, that's actually just something that's on the map itself.
That comes with the map itself, exactly.
Oh, okay.
I noticed that too. It's mainly like transportation centers, kind of. So I don't know if that's an option you can toggle on and off, but
Okay.
This doesn't seem to be closing now for some reason.
It thinks you're clicking on the something
Yeah,
underneath
on
it, I think.
Oh yeah, that's like a pointer events kind
Oh,
of
it's
thing
like
or something.
stuck. Well, a bug.
Yep, yep.
And then, Rachel,
Interesting.
do you want to walk through the code?
Sure, yeah. So, and I totally agree with Andrew, your comments about refactoring the Haverson function. I think I did, like, we didn't realize till literally right later last night that the locations weren't sorted. So we reused it a few times, but
Mhm.
that would be a great idea. But yeah, code, let me just switch. Give me 1 second. Check out.
Seems like a spring day here in Portland.
What was the name of the branch again? Is it?
Let me see.
Let me just look at the branch. I can also look at the branches. Okay. CGRF search bar. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Andrew, I see you're like flooded with sun.
I know.
That's amazing.
It's mostly because I don't have a good sun blocking shades and stuff. But, so.
Okay. So,
Good problem to have.
where?
It's raining here.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
So we added some stuff to the lib. First, in office hours, Andrew helped us think out how we would transform the data. And basically this idea of we're taking in this Google search result that's giving us a bunch of data, and we want it to mimic the way that the Wikipedia format results look like. So then we can just set all of the results to locations and it will render the pins. So that was really helpful. We transformed the Google Place data, and then this is a function that Andrew and Shane and I worked on in office hours, where we were just combining the wiki results. And then in location context, what we have to really do is like a use effect. Oh, sorry. Just a use effect to nearby places when those change. And if locations and nearby places exist, we just set locations and we just take those in. And then it's just automatically rendering. Then we added the Haverson function again, because basically the thing is with Wikipedia is it gives you the distance from center, but the Google map results don't. So you have to take in the initial latitude, the initial longitude, and then the current lat and long. And we were able to, we just had to change the info window a little bit once we had it running. So we added the Haverson for here when we're doing distance from center. And then, with the page ID, at first we were going to set page ID to null, but the page ID is also being used as the key. And so the wiki IDs are all numbers, and then the Google IDs are a combination of numbers and letters. So we were just like, oh, let's try to do like a regex, where we're like, hey, if this is just, and Andrew had the suggestion as well, where like we can, what were you calling it? Duck typing?
mhm.
Yeah. So we're basically like, is this a wiki link? No. Okay. Well, then nothing. And so what we did is, Caitlin and I just were, and Caitlin showed like the reg test place where we looked it up. We just looked up some regex expressions and we got it to, with a be just, this is the numbers, and Andrew gave us a more accurate updated version, which I just added. And then here we're like, is this a valid page ID for the wiki page? And if it is, then you get wiki page link, and if not, null. And then that's what we did. And then we realized that the table actually needed the same information as well. And this is where it would be helpful to do a refactor. But so we just added that with the table, the same logic, which I just realized I have to update the regex now in the table. It's the same logic. And so then the learn more is not going to be there if it is a Google page. It's just going to have the address and the distance. And then in order to sort it, we had to bring in the Haverson again. And it's a little complicated, and it would be a great refactor. Again, we really just wanted it all to be functioning by today for the demo. So hopefully this week we can like maybe just like have this in context a little bit, or just like, yeah, we were saying maybe save those distances somewhere in state and then just like in context and pull them in. But yeah, that's what we did. And then now it's just giving us the sorted locations. Yeah, and then that is what Caitlin was showing you, that when you're at the table now, once you add in cafe or you can add in restaurant or whatever you're looking for, it's going to give you distance from center, both the wiki and the Google results. So it's like the user can see like, oh, like this famous house is 0.3 miles, but there's a coffee shop like 0.4 or 0.4 kilometers. So yeah, that is what we did.
I just think this is, I mean, it was so impressive to me that you all stuck with this and got this working and got it all integrated, you know, through multiple weeks. So like multiple people coming in on, you know, in and out on the issue, and Rachel especially just sticking with it. I was just so impressed.
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of cool that we all got to work on it, and I feel like it is like Rachel's baby.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was just like, I'm gonna get this to work. Like, I know the library exists. I've seen the data return. Now we just need it rendering.
Yeah.
It's congratulations, y'all.
Definitely.
Definitely ended up being a lot more complicated, the search functionality, than I think any of us were prepared for.
Totally.
But
Yeah.
learned a lot.
Yeah, and learned a lot about how the Google Maps, like the different things they have available and what would necessarily be useful or not useful. And yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there's a reason we hadn't ever done it before. It is complicated, but you all managed to pull it off, so it's great. And the app looks great. And I actually really like just having the 3 icons on the bottom. You know, it's just like, this is how you control the app, right? And even if you wanted to have, you know, settings and help, like maybe those go up in the corners in the top or something because they're less frequently used, right?
And I really like the list functionality. Like, I don't know. I think at first I was like thinking of it, I'm like, oh, this is an additional accessibility, but I just love the way it ended up looking. I love the way you can actually manipulate it. It can be simplified in a place like New Orleans where there's so many. I mean, I think where we all live, it's a lot less populated. So at least for me, I don't know about other people. So yeah, that list component is just one of my favorite features, and I'm just so happy we have it.
Yeah, agreed.
EJ will be happy to hear that.
Yeah.
That was his idea. So,
Right.
yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Did anybody have anything they wanted to add before we move on to our
Are y'all gonna, like, it looks like there's still a little bit of integration of the 2 things. Are you all gonna stick with it and kind of get that into one functioning app?
Yeah, I think what could be like easy to do is like, if you guys have comments like the ARIA label thing, like I can put those in, and like we can, this is like not very divergent from like the main branch in terms of like what files we've updated. So maybe we merge this one and then we like pull it up to your guys' branch, and then once those are merged, like that's pretty much everything all together, and we can like
No, I went through this morning, it was afternoon for me because it's later, and addressed those comments you left, Andrew, about the dashes with the ARIA labels. Again, I'd run an accessibility test and wanted to make sure. And then yeah, I think Shane, if you want to merge with Maine, and then maybe we come together to make sure we have the loading messages the same way you set up, to make sure our error messages, it looks the same, it's the same. And then then we can merge the search box to Maine.
Woot.
Cool. I don't know if y'all saw the message in the cohort channel, but all the other teams are going to do a short, like a 30 to 90 second video of their like demo of their app. I'd love for this team to do that as well, partly to kind of like sell these the other teams on eventually doing the advanced project. We're not going to do it this cohort, but the next one, get them excited about it.
Cool.
Yeah, maybe we can do that, like maybe we can all meet for like, or we could do it separately or meet for 10 minutes at some point this week once we've merged everything to Maine, and we can do it from the deployed site.
Yeah, there you go.
Even better.
Yeah.
Nice. Super cool. All right. So we go to the retro. Do people need a little more time to, I see there's like not much in the what's next column. There's several cards in the gratitude side. So Do we need a couple minutes to add a few more cards? Yeah.
Yeah, I would love a couple minutes. I haven't gotten around to it.
Okay, sure, no problem. So just when you're done, put done in the chat so we know, and then yeah, take a few minutes to do that.
Oh my God, y'all. I was like, why are my cats growling? But then I realized my aunt was outside meeting my mom and they've been like growling.
Oh, my little one, if she's in the front window and sees somebody she doesn't recognize, will growl
That's what's happening.
and then run away and hide. But, you know.
Okay, I think we're almost everybody's done, right?
Shane, are you still working? Looks like he's almost done.
Yeah.
That was me. I literally just wrote that last sentence.
Okay.
Cool. All right. I will share my screen. All right. So yeah. Well, why don't we'll start up here, and it's a little, I don't know how we will know what order to go in, but maybe I will start and I will just hand it off to somebody or something. Maybe let's try that. So we'll start by showering Allie with some praise. So Allie, you have been such a consistent, steady presence, and I just love how you're always willing to be like, oh, I've never done that before, but sure, whatever. I'll read about it and I'll figure it out, and I'll lead the team in some activity or whatever. It's just been been really comforting just to know that you're there and are kind of my backup for all these everything we've been doing. So thank you so much. Maybe we'll go clockwise. So Shane.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, mine was very just showing appreciation for all of the help and advice that you've provided. I think me as a person, I really respect people who I feel have a greater sense of empathy and appreciation, and place a kind of level of importance on inclusion. And I think in this project and in the last, I've definitely noticed that in your kind of approach and then the way that you create spaces. So I really appreciate that.
Love it.
Yeah. Ali, yeah, I just really appreciate, I feel like you are always there to support us and cheer us on and teach us. And I really appreciate the presentation you did for one of those learning Saturdays or learning modules. And yeah, I just felt like you were just a constant presence that was there and positive and real. And I appreciate that.
Welcome.
Nice. Devon?
Yeah, so same, I guess. Yeah, I think no, it's the truth. I know when you specifically helped me through when we were working on the table. So yeah, just the okay, I'll figure it out. Like it's it's the energy that we needed getting through this project when that was the whole thing for all of us trying to figure it out. So yeah, thank you for your mentorship and guidance.
Nice. Rachel.
Allie, thank you for being just so kind and so thoughtful all the time. And I wrote availability, but I think it's really actually reliability, because you are so reliable to me in so many different ways. This last project and this project, just in terms of coding or asking about the project, I just really appreciate you. I feel so kind of blessed to be able to have worked with you since October, because you are so reliable and so kind, and it's just such a joy. And I love that you love cats. So
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Rachel next. So I appreciate and really honestly admire your determination, and just like you, it wasn't easy, but there were moments where just showing your vulnerability too, of just being very real about where you're at, and but just sticking with it and taking that search ticket and just seeing it through to completion. And you were so determined. You're like, no, we are going to finish this. And we were, you know what I mean? It was just it's just great. So and you're helping with other parts of Collab Lab and stuff, and it's just really fun to work with you. So love it. All right, Shane.
Yeah, Rachel, I definitely would second a lot of what Andrew is saying. It's really enjoyable to work with you. And I feel like even when I'm on difficult parts of the project with you, and even with the last project, it never feels overwhelming. I think that's something that in this type of work can be very quick to happen. People don't understand what's going on, and then you kind of lose track of what you're doing. But I feel like we kind of have a good rapport in the way that we approach problems. I always appreciate the like depth of your like research into problems, or your like depth of wanting to like look for the right solution. I think it's like pushed me to be more like, okay, like maybe let me try to find like the best solution and not necessarily my first solution. So I definitely appreciate that.
Nice. All right, Devon.
Okay.
Yeah,
I had to unmute myself. Yeah, so Rachel, week one, just the energy, I think it's just, I recognize that, yeah, you're definitely going to be pushing us forward, in a good way, right? Like, just that can do where you took on the search box function, because you did. and well, I think we spent like a month on that. Like we might have spent like 4 weeks, including last week on this. So but yeah, just amazing, and just pushing through everything. So thank you.
Nice. Allie?
I just, among other things, I really appreciate Rachel's willingness to just hop on and live code while everybody's talking at her, at you. That is not an easy thing to do, and you do it well and willingly, and that's awesome. So, thank you.
Nice.
I think like almost all of us mentioned your dedication and determination. I feel like that's very true. It was super apparent, and I just feel like you brought a lot of like passion and thoroughness and like a really good spirit to the making of this app. And it was great working with you, and yeah, thank you.
Nice. All right, let's talk about
everyone. That was so great. I'm like, oh, so sweet.
All right, let's talk about Shane. So yeah, Shane, I mean, I really love everything you brought to the group. You are an amazing designer, but you're just such a great teammate too. So just the way that you pair with everybody, and kind of you create space for people, and you make them better, by example, and with feedback and stuff. So it's really been great to have you on the team.
Thank you.
Yeah, Devon.
Oh yes, Steven. Same. Like, I mean, I've just been amazed. Like Shane is just, with design and the technical skills, like it's really, that's rare to have such a vast wealth of knowledge, and to be able to put it all together. And I think just kind of, yeah, just doing that. Like you kind of kept the project on track in that sense, where it was like, I mean, the last week with doing the design element, and that was all like, okay, we're gonna go with it. Like we'll integrate it. That looked good. That's great. I know I don't have that skill. Everybody else is like, hey, 2 thumbs up. So just every week, just being poised and working and focused. So yeah, great job.
Poised, I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. It's honest feedback.
All right.
I mean, I'm also shouting out to your great design skills. I think we all noticed and were wildly impressed by that. But I also was super impressed by every time we got on to like code together. I feel like I've never seen someone like live code so fast in front of my eyes. I was like, do you have all this stuff in the top of your head? I'm like Googling every 2 seconds. So yeah, I just know that you contributed a lot, and I always appreciated pairing with you.
Among other, all the other things, your design eye, your consistent presence. I just also appreciate your ability to listen to a conversation or be part of a meeting and be like, okay, I think this is what we're saying, and just sort of distill it down into what everybody's talking about. And it's phenomenal, and I just really appreciate it, because I can get lost in conversations pretty easily, and it was always nice to have you just sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Just
Summarize,
condense it down.
or,
Yeah, summarize. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really important skill in a group.
Give us the cliff notes.
Rachel?
I just, Shane, like, thank you for your consistency and your persistence. And yeah, it's just been been such a joy. Again, like Allie, I've been working with you since October, and I love it. And then like everyone else, like you have such a beautiful eye and design, and you make it look effortless. And I know, I mean, I've seen like those programs are not effortless. You do that with coding in a sense too, and maybe that's what Caitlin was saying. There's almost this like effortlessness you exude, and we know it's just so hard, and that it's just like it's so beautiful to be around.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
All right. I'm really conscious that I have to lead a meeting in about 16 minutes. So I want us to talk about EJ because I want EJ to get that feedback. I think we might come back to him if we have time. How's that?
Okay.
So I'll move on to Devon. So Devon, I really appreciate just how you support the team, both and you know, like mostly like in these calls, you know, just how you kind of you show up and like you back people up and you kind of you're just like kind of like a glue or something for the team. So really love your contributions to these calls.
Thank you.
Yeah. Shane?
Yeah, I was always really appreciative of how flexible you were in terms of like our pairing and like what that would look like every week that we were together. So that was also very helpful. And I also really appreciated your like willingness and openness to like reaching out for help. Like not that I'm opposed to reaching out for help, but it was like, like when we got too deep into something, you always were kind of like, yeah, maybe we probably should like bring somebody in. I think that's like a really important, you know, kind of like insight to have sometimes.
Definitely plus one to that. And yeah, I always enjoyed our pairing sessions too. And I felt like we had some good kind of sidetracked discussions about like bigger picture stuff that I also thought was like really important, like product chats and stuff about flow. And I enjoyed that too.
I just appreciated your confidence in the team. You never once doubted like, oh yeah, we can do this. We got this. It just, yeah, I love that.
Yeah, for sure. And then Rachel?
Yeah, I just appreciate all your support and like enthusiasm throughout this project. Again, like to reiterate what everyone says, like in the calls and in pairing, and like really just like such an upbeat spirit. And like, yeah, it's just been a great experience for me to be in your presence over these like few months. So thank you.
Nice. All right. Yeah, we'll talk about Caitlin. We can skip this guy. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. We'll talk about Caitlin. So it was really fun for me to have you here with, you know, some work experience and like you kind of be able to like just bounce off like, is that how you do it where you work? Because every place is a little bit different. And I mean, beyond that, you bring a lot to the team. Just you know, but that was one of the fun things for me. Rachel.
Yeah. I really enjoyed pairing with you, and just like I love the way you think through code, and it's very meticulous, and the way you like pseudocode and really are like, okay, what are we doing? Let's get back to this. Like, what's this? And you kind of rein it in a way that I appreciate. And I also just appreciate your boundaries. It's a great example for me. I think we said that, like, and that has been also something for me to learn from. So thank you for that.
Nice. Shane.
Yeah, I've really appreciated like how we've gone about like the work that we have every week and how we go about planning out like when we're going to meet and what that's going to look like. Also like super excited for your trajectory in terms of, I feel like when we first started this, like you were talking about a position you were interviewing for and it kind of like progressed as we went through this. So I think that's like really exciting. And then I also think I've like learned a lot in our pairing, especially with you like actually kind of like being on a team and having like working on different code bases. I feel like I've learned a lot like seeing your syntax and seeing like the ways you go about coding certain things. Like for example, kind of like creating variables in CSS, something I've never really done before. And now that I've started doing it, I'm like, I don't understand how I was not doing this, because like having to change things in like every instance is ridiculous. So that's pretty cool. And that's definitely something I'm going to carry on.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, this kind of goes along with what Rachel was saying. There were a couple of times I noticed as the team was sort of going into the weeds on something, or getting into some yak shaving, for lack of better phrasing. Caitlin, you were really good at sort of drawing us back or drawing the team back and getting us, on track and on track to finish with a product you can show everybody. So.
Great.
And yeah, I guess just echoing what everyone else said, because yeah, Rachel, what you said about the boundaries, like, Caitlin was like, I'm trying to stick to 5-6 hours full stop. Like, it's like, I appreciate that. So when we were working, it was being mindful and also like saying that, like we can, if we need help too, because we definitely reached out to the mentors. So, but working through the problems, like I think when we paired specifically, it was like, okay, let's tackle this. And if we run into a brick wall, it's like, all right, let's go talk to the mentor. And so it was just that, also just having that real world experience, and I could definitely tell it came across. So definitely thank you for being a wonderful Collab Lab partner.
Well, thanks, y'all. And I'm not going to let Andrew get away without saying his. So I'll kick that off.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you for everything, Andrew. I mean, I was in cohort number 1, and I cannot believe how far this whole collab has come. And it's been so amazing to participate in it again and like kind of see how it is. And also you basically helped me get 2 jobs. So shout out.
Oh yeah, just as I say, 1,000 thanks for making this a thing. It's wonderful, and I know how much time you put into this outside of the job you already have and all the stuff you have in your life. So thank you for taking the time and for giving me the opportunity to mentor. This has been phenomenal, and I love it. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're a great mentor.
You are, Allie. I guess I'll go. It's I was in cohort 7, so it feels like that was like years ago. But and to come back, like Andrew basically recruited me, and I was like, okay, and I mean, just really following my story, just being just supportive. I mean, just knowing ended up where I landed, and what I'm doing now is not what Collab Lab is, but just continuing and honestly just believing in me and believing in all of us, honestly. I mean, this is just such an amazing program. Like, thank you.
Yeah, I think to address like obviously your contributions to the Collab Lab as a whole, it was a really good timing for me, like coming straight out of a boot camp and like having something a bit more structured to like devote my time to and keep me honest in terms of like coding consistently and having opportunities to collaborate with other developers. So like, thank you for creating the space. But I think also like, even in the past industries I've been in, like where I've found the most success and the most growth is when I'm able to like find those people who it's kind of like, okay, that's how you do it. Like, this is how you speak about something. And I think your approach to explaining problems to us or like explaining technical concepts to us is always very pragmatic, and your tone is always it's like very knowledgeable without seeming like unapproachable, which I think is like really great. And I think like, not to fanboy, but like when I'm rubber ducking, I'm kind of like, how would Andrew say this? Like what would the tone sound like? Like how would it come across? So I think that's really cool. I think that's something I'm going to carry on. And that is like how I will look at you. So thank you for that.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, first of all, thank you, Andrew, for being so much to so many people. Like, it is incredible. I've loved that you doing code reviews with you, because like your guidance improves so much about how I code and how I think about code every week. Like every week I'm like, okay, like incorporating new things. And like, you've just provided so many opportunities to learn and grow for so many people. And I think I'll just be forever grateful. Like, I love this Collab Lab space. yeah, it's just, I'm just kind of in awe. So I know Shane said not to fanboy, but I feel like I am fanboy. Like, I'm so grateful that, because, that Lisa introduced me, and that because she was my mentor in school, and she has spoken so highly of you as well. And you really are an example, like, of who I want to be, like, 20 years in the industry. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. All right, we have 8 minutes left before I need to lead another meeting. So we could talk about EJ for the record, put it on video, and he could maybe watch later. We could also talk about what's next for people. We have a preference.
You can do both.
I don't have time to do both.
I would love to hear what's next for people, and maybe we can start a thread for EJ or something.
Yeah, it's a great idea. We'll pull that into the channel. I love it. All right, Allie.
Right. So as soon as this meeting's over, I am jumping straight into the career lab, which will lead straight to the job hunt, and hopefully that will lead to Chicago. So that is what my plan is currently. So
nice.
Back to the snow.
Yeah.
And I have 4 nieces and nephews in Indiana, so I'm itching to get back where I can see them all the time. So yeah.
Understood.
I also am going to do Career Lab today. I started a part-time job, but I really do want a front-end job full-time that I would love if it focused on accessibility. And I did just message about a good first issue for the Alley project. So I'm hopefully going to contribute to that. And those are kind of my things that I have happening next.
Great.
So yeah, some open.
Okay. Yeah, so right now, like, I think just continuing, I landed in a good space, I think, and I'm not developing every day, but we work with developers, and so I just want to establish myself in my current role, and I think it's a place that I can gain experience, and they're open to promoting internally, so I think I'm try to get over to the software engineering side eventually, but maybe in 2022. So try to spend this year, just working with the team, gaining confidence, and seeing how things go. So
nice.
I'm going to convert my whole closet to Nike gear.
That's what I was laughing at, Kay, when I saw that. And I just, Rachel, I just like,
nice.
The process has already begun. Working with
friends and family discount. No.
I know, sadly, no, not as a contractor, but hopefully someday.
Eventually.
And then Andrew, myself, and some other Collab Lab folks are working on kind of creating an ebook to help like get junior devs hired. And I'm excited about that. And then I also have started working on my own ebook that's kind of like a boot camper's companion to like help explain some things that I think often get overlooked in boot camps that can just help folks. So
that's great. That's awesome. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not going anywhere, but TCL is so Career Lab kicks off in 5 minutes, and I'm going to be helping Caitlin with the ebook, like she mentioned, and then just longer term trying to partner with companies to get just create more jobs for early career people. I think there's a lot of things that they think are barriers to doing that aren't actually as big of barriers as they think. So if we can get companies thinking that way, there's plenty of good people to fill those roles. So we just need more jobs for them. So that's what we're going to try to do over the next few years. We'll see how it goes. Wish us luck.
Go great.
So for me, I guess to start off with the second bullet point, like in this new role that I've been in, I'm just learning a ton, not even just about code, but like cloud infrastructure and like people's different like setups to like creating applications. So it's been like really expansive in terms of my idea of like where I could go or like what does interest me. So that's been very cool. But at the same time, I do want to make sure that I'm maintaining this balance of like continuing to maintain my like front end skills, but also building new skills and taking on new projects. Like I'm trying to learn Python and like learn some more skills that like may support like infrastructure in the way that I'm kind of like learning about it on my role. And they seem pretty supportive of like, if we see that you're kind of like trying to, or taking initiative to like learn more about this, like you can move into engineering. not sure, like based on what they actually do, I don't even know if that's the direction I want to take, but there are a ton of directions that seem exciting to me. So I think that's what's next for me.
Nice. Awesome. All right.
I do
3
wanna
minutes till Career Lab. Go ahead.
I
Yeah.
do, yeah, Andrew and I went to this talk with a Collab lab mentor about digital gardens, and I
Mhm.
really want to build a digital garden, and I find that idea to be so fascinating. I've just been thinking about it, talking to my partner, exploring it. So I want to put myself accountable by the end of this year, right? By 2021, I will have built some sort of digital garden.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool concept, and that's Yenli was the mentor who talked to us about it, and totally encouraging her to do a tech talk on it, or at least like maybe a lightning talk or something. So, but if you haven't, like, if you search for that, I'm
gonna just drop 2 links in the chat history or in the chat box.
It's an easy rabbit hole to go down. And it's super cool. All right, I got to go get ready to present to y'all. But this was really great. Thank you, everybody. The project was amazing. It's going to be so much better the next time we do it because of your thoughtful feedback along the way and stuff too. So hope you all learned something from it. And
I love
Absolutely.
that Caitlin was
Thank
like
you.
around twice. You're like,
Yeah. Love being the guinea pig.
Yeah.
all right, take
All
care,
right,
everybody.
guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.